This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com with two-time WWE Tag Team Champion, recent Pro Wrestling Noah Tag Team Champions as well. And this is what we're going to discuss today. I guess there's a individual clip posted from Konnan's Keeping It 100 podcast where him and the Disco Inferno discuss you a little bit because a fan wrote in with a question about you allegedly having backstage issues at one point, and you wanted to respond more to the fans because you read the comments on this video, and there was a lot of wrong comments from what I understand. So I'll let you get into it.
Yeah. So I had to think about the one guy that said I was a douchebag backstage in this show in 2013. And I had to think of the name. Then I realized it was some promoter that ran a show in Halifax. And just one of these mark promoters running a really shitty fucking indie show. Like all the wrestlers are, mind you, like this is one of the first indie shows I had done because I went from WWF to Japan, moved to Japan, then came back to Canada. So yeah, just some little jabroni promoter who acted like a mark, so I treat him like a mark.
And Konnan mentioned in that audio that he had never heard of you, I guess, but supposedly you have had some contact with Konnan in the past.
No, I met him in San Diego. I think Ray had brought him backstage. I think he's from San Diego. And then we were actually going to partake in some medicinal therapeutics outside, but Johnny Ace was staring right at us. So, I kind of gave him the Iggy, like, nah, we shouldn't go backstage. We shouldn't go do that.
And you're a big supporter of that 420 movement, which is legal here in Canada. I understand your wife actually works at a plant now where
she's like a secretary administrator. She started off low, and then all of a sudden they gave her this promotion, and now she's like top notch right there. But here's the thing, dude, I haven't done it in forever. I'm not against it, but I just really haven't done it in a long time. But I mean, I will. I mean, I don't really care, right? But yeah, some of the comments, dude. One guy says, you have heat when you don't get a second chance. Okay, so for all the fans out there, I was re-signed with WWF in 2011. Okay, not only I was signed for 5 times the amount of guarantee that I left for. Okay, but what happened was when they came to do my work permit, work visa, I needed to get a waiver, and I was living in Japan and I never got it done. So basically, they paid me 6 months of a 1-year contract, was over 6 figures, and I had to sign a release form. Okay,
right.
There's news for you there. And as far as
Noah is the second company in Japan right now behind.
Noah is owned by Abema TV, which is worth approximately $6 billion US. Okay, that's worth more than Vince McMahon. That's almost worth as much as Tony Khan's family or whatever. Okay, so just to let you know that, get that clear. And listen, when I first started to go over there, they have these magazines, right? Weekly magazines in Japan. It looks something like this. Okay. When I first started going over there, I was like, you know what? My goal is to be on the front cover. It took me 13 years, but motherfucker, I made it on the front cover. Right there. Okay? Because I never gave up. And this picture right here, K-Dog, according to my partner, Wagner, was #1 trending in Mexico at the time. So I don't know if he doesn't follow Mexico wrestling on Twitter. And if it wasn't for the pandemic, we would be over there right now defending the titles. And we had actually made an agreement that, let's go to Mexico together as Noah Tag Champs and tour all over Mexico. So if it wasn't for the pandemic, we would be over there right now, and we would draw money together. I guarantee it.
Any chance of seeing you in Mexico with Dr. Wagner once this lockdown's over, if it ever ends, if it's not Armageddon these days?
Yeah, right. No, as soon as we're allowed clearance, because right now they're not giving out entertainment visas to anybody entering Japan, right? So it's already established that once and if this thing clears up, me and him are going to go be #1 contenders again for the tag championships. And then if that happens and if we do win them again, 100%, man. Because I know, like I said, I know we can go down there and do great, awesome business in Mexico. Because Dr. Wagner Jr., dude, his family is like top 3 in Mexico. Like his father is amazing, like bigger star than Konnan. Konnan is. You know.
Was there any other comments on there that you wanted to respond to? I know you had a few other ones.
Let me try to look it up again, dude.
What are your thoughts on, I guess, Sylvain appeared on Impact Wrestling as an announcer last weekend? I guess that means his WWE producer role was very short-lived.
Oh, well, yeah, that's another thing, right? So, yeah, do you realize that over the last 12 years or 13 years that I've been gone, they've been sending people to my signings. Like me and Sly did the first autograph signing we ever did. Like it was in New Jersey. We never did one before. There's a WWE agent just so happens to be right next to us. Okay. And he's with us the whole weekend. And then Pat Patterson shows up once in Quebec City and once in Toronto. And then we have a mutual friend that we've known since we're teenagers, who's an agent there now without naming his name, came to one of my shows in St. Catharines. And then there was one agent, he even called my house 5 or 6 times that we know each other. And I said no. And why do you think they put a tag title on a 9-year-old kid? Why do you think they did that?
I'm still wondering, other than just to get some quick publicity out of it.
No, I held the record, right?
At 19, yeah.
I held the record, and they were like promoting and shit. They have a way of sending you message to the internet, right? I never put it over. And they had people calling my house, and I said no. So what did they do? They go and break my record at WrestleMania with a 9-year-old. That's why they did that.
That is a good theory on that, for sure.
It's not a theory. It's the reason why. Trust me. I know how they work, dude.
Well, I've seen it in these interviews. They have strange ways of getting at people. Where's Kenzo Suzuki these days? There's a fan asking. He's your former tag partner.
Yeah, I ran into Kenzo in Japan. He's a top producer of Fuji TV. He's like a backstage producer, runs TV shows and stuff. His wife, Hiroko, is a politician. She's in office. Yeah, they have one boy now. And he's doing great. He's out of the wrestling business. He might do an odd shot here and there, but yeah, I met him when I went to Chono's office. I'm like a little kid, dude. I go like I'm like foreign exchange student day at Chono's office, just playing on like playing video games and stuff.
Yeah, it seems that you two are very close. I've read through some of the comments here.
Yeah.
About Konnan. It is strange they posted that clip where they didn't really say anything about you.
Yeah, Disco. I think Disco said that he had a comment. I never met Disco ever in my life. Never met him.
Okay.
And Koda, yeah, I met Konnan one time, and I actually emailed him. My buddy in Japan gave me his email because I was in between gigs, and I'd really like to go tour Mexico, right? Like that's something off my book. I only did one show in Mexico. It was in 2008. It was for Ultimo Dragon. He runs this big show every year called Dragon Mania. And they put me in the main event, and it was a sold-out arena, Mexico. I was tagged up with Atlantis, Ultimo Guerrero versus Tatsumi Fujinami, Mystico, and Ultimo Dragon. So, main eventing a sold-out arena in Mexico, that's a pretty big deal, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. Wrestling's still huge there. One of the couple of places where it is still popular. One of the comments that was negative on here that you may have wanted to address, because I don't remember you ever losing a ton of muscle, but somebody said that when the wellness policy was implemented in 2006, weren't one of the guys with Masters and Conways that lost a ton of size, but I don't remember you ever losing a ton of size.
Okay. I brought this right here. This is the Muscle Mag. All right? Muscle Mag. I was featured like 3 or 4 times. Can you see that?
I can see it, yeah.
17 years old. I was bigger than Arnold Schwarzenegger was then at 19. You give me 6 weeks on the right diet plan, I'll look even better than that, naturally. So I have great genetics, dude. And when you have the office people telling you, you got to get bigger, you got to get bigger, you got to get bigger, what the fuck do you think you're going to do?
There was a fan on here wondering if you think Lars Sullivan has a chance of being a star.
No, he's a shits. Next question.
Is there any other comments that you wanted to address? I'll go through some of them.
Yeah, go ahead. I can't find the gimmick on my gimmick here. I got all these gimmicks everywhere. Can't find it. What else you got?
Someone says, surprised y'all didn't know who he is. Hardcore Holly shot on him over a parking ticket.
Yeah. Hardcore Holly also gave me a handful of somas and then ratted me out to the office.
And another guy says, my good buddy Cornette, who I have no respect for, talked about you. If he remembers correctly, Cornette said you were immature when you were in WWE, and that's what got you heat.
No. Jimmy goes on to say about the phone call, right? Jimmy, it wasn't $125. It was $185, and I gave you $190. So, but thank you for the phone call. I learned a lot in that hour. And but as far as immaturity, no. I can't remember how I was acting when I was 19. But if I was so immature at 19, why would they put me on SmackDown and have a single run with Cena?
Yeah, and they gave you your own Cafe de Rene segments and so forth.
Dude, me and Cena were closing out the show every night and sold out arenas all over the world. And I was 20 years old. So
there is some positive comments on here. Another person says Dupree is another person who was by far a bigger star than Konnan and Disco could dream of. There's another one that said you were underrated. Then there was an asshole that says AEW will sign you because you're talentless but used to work for WWE, which is bullshit. Like, I'm not just saying this, but you are extremely talented. You are in the top 3 Canadian wrestlers.
Dude, did you watch that Jericho and Luther match?
I unfortunately watched it, yeah. I'm really sorry.
I saw clips of it. I mean, they're both Canadians, and I respect Canadian wrestlers, but holy fuck.
Yeah, it was the worst match I've seen in 2020. Now, I haven't seen a lot of matches, but I think
I've seen another one.
Konnan on this, he says that Luther does not belong off of Dark. He doesn't care how long he claims to have been in the business for.
Well, that's you know, when you have friends. Listen, if you weren't my buddy, I wouldn't be doing this podcast, right?
Yeah.
So you give me a platform to call people out on their bullshit because, you know, I just don't like being lied about. You know what I mean? So
Dream 12 Chaser brought up, if you remember, Randy Orton, who is now the champion again.
yeah, he was probably the worst out of the whole bunch. You know what I mean? He would do things like, I don't want to go on record saying it, but the shit he would do was, you know, and he would influence guys to do bad shit too. You know what I mean? Yeah.
From what I've heard, yeah, but he's a good politician and luckily has his father as a Hall of Fame.
The guy. Listen, Vince loves tall, dark, muscular, handsome men. So he fits the mold perfect. You know what I mean? If he were to lose his abs or be a little flabby, he'd be shoved down the roster quicker than you could say it. Trust me.
Rec 46 wanted to know if you could give any insight into working with Hunter or David Finlay backstage.
I don't know. Hunter was. There's times where he could be really cool, but a large part he was very standoffish, and you know, I don't know. Dave Finlay, I think he was one of my supporters at one time. One reason why I had a bad rep on SmackDown is because him and Johnny Ace dragged me into a dressing room one day, and they were pitching to fucking Vince to give me that top spot, even though I was so young. You know what I mean? That's why Bradshaw was on my ass more so than usual, than most people, because he was being used as a top heel, but I was the second one, you know, the second heel there. But I was younger, I was a better athlete, and quite frankly, at house shows, nobody would get more reaction real fucking heat than me. That's a fact.
Mike wants to know if you eat EBI in Japan. I don't know what that is because I've never been over there.
Ebi? Is that type sushi?
I don't know, Mike. You're going to have to be more specific than that.
More specific.
Do you still talk to Rob Conway at all? Mace the Great wants to know. You were never tag team partners with him.
Yeah, we were.
Jamar says you were always good. So you have a lot of supporters on this channel. UFC Nexus thinks Randy got Arn Anderson fired.
No, it was Ken Anderson. Yeah, he did.
Or Ken Anderson, yeah. Why? What happened there?
Apparently he hit him with a suplex or something, and that's the story I heard. And then Randy went bitch and complained to the office, and then they fired him.
Gummy Devastation says, did you like working for Over the Top Wrestling in Ireland?
The best. The Irish crew is the best. Love those guys.
Mike says yes, he was talking about sushi, and Double S tipped you $10, so you didn't do this for nothing.
Oh, really? They give tips on this?
Yes.
Thanks. I got a poodle to feed. Yeah, if it's sushi, chances are I ate it. So.
Do you have a poodle, really? I didn't know that.
Hey.
Let's see.
Hold on a second.
This is great. If anyone else has questions, you can tip them. I have to go somewhere.
Oh, okay, no, I think he's hiding underneath the bed. He doesn't want to come out.
He's shy.
But yeah.
Christopher, I already know the answer to this, but he says, would you be interested in WWE or AEW? I know the answer is no, unless the money was an offer you couldn't refuse, probably.
Well, unlike you, Devin, I really don't want to leave the Maritimes. I don't want to live out anywhere else. So it has to. No.
You don't mind being locked down there?
Well, no, our gyms are open now, and it's only like my town, dude, is like one street. That's all it is. So I can get anywhere I want to go within like 4 minutes driving.
Is it true that there is like a street named after your father there in the town?
No.
Okay. You actually got $15. Pirate Canvas tips you $5, and he wants to know if Bob Holly once confronted you at a convention.
Okay, yeah, I want to clear that one up too. This guy, we're in Jersey. He claims that he called me out like he wanted to fight me. He said, "Let's go and fight." That never happened. He called me out and pointed at me saying he didn't like me. So I just looked at him and laughed. And then we actually just shook hands and that's it. But no, Bob Holly is full of shit. He's full of more shit than a Christmas turkey.
Is it the same poodle from the SmackDown days? Someone wants to know. I'm pretty sure you always had different poodles back then.
Yeah, no, it was every week we had a different poodle. Every week they would call up the Show Dogs Association, whatever. And the only thing I wanted to do with that was have merchandising. That's the only thing I wanted. They never did it. So,
how's the weather up there? Steve wants to know. Has it got cold yet?
Yeah, it's starting to get cold. I think up northern New Brunswick they actually have snow now.
Do people ask you if you're Matthew McConaughey's little brother still? Someone wants to know. You kind of
all right. Do I look like him?
A little bit.
Really?
Yes. The way you're sitting, I guess.
Well, you don't have older, and they say the same age.
I still think if you ever switch gimmicks, it should be Gaston. Just a few more quick questions here. Stanley wants to know if you ever worked with Furnace and LaFon. I think they were a bit before your time, but I don't know.
No, but like I told you, that Phil LaFon was a freaking genius, right? He used to work for my dad. He was Phil Lafleur, and I used to watch him as a kid. And all those awesome All Japan tag matches, all those sequences, man. So many guys ripped off of him, and then the only thing WWE says about him is that it's the world most boring tag team ever. Go watch his stuff in All Japan with him and Crawford versus Kobashi. Oh, so listen to the crowd go insane for those matches. He was amazing.
Now, I know you and Benoit were never close. Jet fan wants to know if Chris Benoit ever talked to you about concussions or depression. I'm fairly certain no.
No, I never talked about it. But when I see him intoxicated on alcohol, and I actually heard an interview with Noah where he's talking about when Chris was drinking, he would freak out, and then the next day Nova would call him out on it, and Chris would say, "I don't remember." Well, that's when you have lots of head trauma, you drink alcohol, you black out, and you become very violent, you know. And I seen him in England one night drinking. I was only around him once when he was drinking, and it just a rage in his eyes. And then I said, "Okay, I gotta go." I walked away. You know what I mean?
Now, I know you're not going to mind asking this question. I don't think you've ever trained wrestlers, but is there any chance of getting your dad's promotion up and running again in the future? I know you've done some events in the past, but the lockdown's screwing everything up this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't run until there's a vaccine, and you know what I mean? Because it's too risky, man. First of all, I wouldn't be able to use any outside talent because anybody coming outside of the Maritimes would have to quarantine for 2 weeks, right? And then people, I mean, my gym is empty because people are scared to even go work out, even though it's open. You know what I mean? My gym's always empty. So do you think they're going to spend money? There's too much paranoia now. But eventually, yeah, if things clear up, I mean, I've promoted close to 100 shows already.
True. Rec is asking how your family is coping with the lockdowns. I think your wife is still working. It's mainly you that it's affected your job, right?
Yeah, I can't travel with shucks. Well, that promoter from that you've been talking to in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, he contacted me too. It's NAWA, right?
Yeah, North American Wrestling Association.
Yeah. Are you gonna go down there?
Yeah, it looks like if I can, I will probably. Yeah.
Yeah. See, if I went down there, what would happen is that I'd have to come back and then stay quarantine isolated for 2 weeks. So, I mean, I can't stay by myself for Christmas and New Year's, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually have to be in the US around that time anyways, and I'm not a big Christmas person, so it doesn't bother me. Eamon tipped you, I think that's £5. Didn't even
Oh,
have
right. Thanks, Eamon.
you still have your European fans. I know you're not really going to want to answer this one because you don't follow it too much, but Ryan wants to know the wrestling scene in the Maritimes now.
Yeah, traditionally spring to like mid-fall. That was the prime season because, I mean, a lot of guys have tried running during the winter. It just doesn't work. You know what I mean? It's so usually around spring. In my father's prime, he would start mid-April and sometimes go all the way till mid-October. And it was really good. And that would be 7 nights a week. And then he actually had 2 crews a night in the prime season, which was like in the summer, right? So he had up to 14 shows a week. And double shots on Sunday. That's when it was. And then, the Maritimes is like the smallest part of Canada.
Yeah. Least one of the least populated parts.
Populated, but we're one of the best drawing too.
Mickey says Grand Prix was one of the best indie companies out there. It definitely was underrated. Someone needs to write a book about it.
We did a documentary. It was on Fight TV. I think it aired on Fight. I didn't see it, but we did it. Yeah, maybe we'll write a book someday. I don't know.
Well, excellent. Well, thanks for clearing all that up for us, and thanks for the fans that tipped Rene.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's going to go for my doggy Timbit fund.
Oh, your dog likes Timbits.
Oh, dude, he's a fiend. Yeah.
I try to stay away from donuts because I don't have the abs that you have, but my dog loves them too.
Hey, thanks, Devin. Thanks for letting me clear this shit up. All right, appreciate it.
No problem. But I know you don't tweet much, but the American fans love to follow people on Twitter. What's your Twitter and?
Well, I don't run it. You can follow me. It's real Rene Dupree, I think. But yeah, if you contact that Twitter, the person who runs it can contact me. So
we'll throw in this one question because it's a nice one. Did you have a favorite person to work with in the 2000s in WWE?
When I got the chance to work with Austin and Rock, that was really cool.
Didn't you even work with Undertaker a couple of times?
Yeah, I worked with him. We had a match, and he sacrificed me. He gave me a tombstone on the steps. You can find that on YouTube. That's pretty cool.
Nice. Well, thanks again. I'll let you wrap this up however you want to wrap this.
I appreciate the fans, and hopefully when the lockdown ends, I can see you out at a show here somewhere soon. And thanks for the tips. I appreciate it.